Welcome back, guys. Today, this will be our part 2 video of our Airbnb stock. We will discuss more into detail as Airbnb has gone public on December 10th. We will be discussing whether or not my predicament on the stock has changed and other new news related to the stock and whether or not I will be buying this stock. So, let's get started. So, in this video, I will not be discussing about Airbnb's um, business program and how they manage their business and in what industries they lack in or what industries they succeed in. And the basic overall concept of Airbnb. I think most people know that Airbnb is essentially, a bread and breakfast place where a website connects various people looking for a cheaper alternative to hotel rooms, and those alternatives are found through other people's homes or rental properties, so any person can list their property, uh, ensuring that they have a good background check that, yeah, this person is willing to, give his house or give a bedroom in his house, for maybe $100 a night in New York City, which is much cheaper than the average, $300 per night that someone would expect to spend in a hotel room. So Airbnb does provide, more revenue for both the seller, the hostee. I'm sorry, the hoster, and then for the person who is getting that cheaper alternative, it's better for them because they save money. And over the years since 2007, the conception of Airbnb has been wildly successful each and every turn the way. Most of its competitors are pretty much lacking in the industry, and Airbnb has triumphed on top. So what I want to talk about here is Airbnb's stock value. Now it's gone public. It's worth around 93 billion as of December 27th, and how it compares to other players in this industry. I wouldn't say the same exact competitors as Airbnb. I believe, is like really monopolistic in this online Airbnb type business. So, we will compare it more to our traditional hotel chains like Marriott, Hilton, and other hotel brands. So one interesting article I came across, which I really wanted to address, was that Airbnb is now worth more in market cap than the three largest United States-based hotel businesses, being Marriott, Hilton, and Intercontinental. Together, they were worth around 84 billion, and as we know, Airbnb is worth around 93 billion as of today. They did have an initial price of $42, which increased to 68 and 100. Now it's around 176 ish would be that price range for Airbnb. So what I really want to address is that most people don't know that Marriott, Hilton, or Intercontinental don't own most of their hotel brands. Unlike McDonald's is one of the few exceptions. I would say brand value is very important. Plus, they own the real estate, which makes it a killer company. That's why it's worth a lot more than Marriott, Hilton, and Intercontinental, because they own the land underneath. Marriott only owns, very few hotels like the Ritz Carlton and very exclusive ones. But how it works for all three of them is that they essentially have a franchisee find land, find a building, and they take a lease on it, and then they get the rights to build like a Marriott hotel or a Hilton hotel or an Intercontinental hotel. Unlike McDonald's, where their system is, we provide you with the land, we provide you with the building. You can only lease from us. So McDonald's technically owns the land still. So in this situation, that's why it's not worth more. If Marriott, Hilton, Intercontinental were to own their land underneath the hotels, it would be worth, I believe, 10x more altogether. They would be worth 800 billion and not 84 billion. So during this article, they basically said, "Oh, Airbnb is more overvalued." I do agree, Airbnb is overvalued, but not, you can't compare, hotel chains and Airbnb. They're two very distinct things in what they do. Airbnb is more powerful than these three hotel companies is because, first of all, they're not restricted to one brand or a hotel chain. They are open to, apartments, condos, unique houses, townhouses, guest houses, individual bedrooms, and things of that nature. So that was one interesting article I was reading. And yeah, now let's talk about the other news or any other Airbnb related news. So another problem that many people see is that Airbnb may have growing competitors in the future, even though it's very strong right now. Usually, if you're very strong in the beginning, you end very strong at the end. Most of the credit card companies, they always try to come in and try to snatch a lot of the market share, but Visa and Mastercard still dominate the sector for many, many years. So let's look at some of these competitors. I've seen and I've used a lot of these competitors before, and I can tell you there's a key difference in all of these compared to Airbnb. And it's very similar to brokerages. Almost all brokerages now offer commission-free trading, but Robinhood still grows to this day is because it's very, very user friendly. For the beginner investor, it's very easy. Same thing with Airbnb. When I used Airbnb and I used Verbo and HomeAway, the difference was completely like mind-boggling. Like the ease of use is so important. It's really, really important, especially in a website. So there are some key features in some of these which are like way better than Airbnb's. But since Airbnb has an ease of use and a security, a trust, and it's pronounced like a verb, let's Airbnb this or let's go on an Uber. Even though Lyft can offer cheaper rides, people would rather use Uber because of the ease of use and just because of the namesake. So I believe these are the rankings in terms of market share. Airbnb is number one, obviously, but we have HomeAway. So I look at this both by how a person lists their property and how a consumer, buys a night or buys a week of that specific property. So some of the features are quite, like it questions why I don't understand why they're doing it fully. For example, HomeAway, it's one of the biggest property type rental businesses in the world behind Airbnb. However, they only offer private vacation homes, which for a cheap individual, it's really a turn off. They do charge a $4.99 annual fee plus 5% per booking plus 3% credit card processing fee. I would say the 5% is actually pretty good because Airbnb charges slightly more. But that $4.99 is gonna knock off so many people from listing their houses unless they have multiple, like 5 to 10 houses. But they do have a free to list options available with no upfront charge. Commission's 10%, which is pretty decent. Um, However, they do like paid like people to pay their $4.99 fee because they add other benefits. So Verbo was actually acquired by HomeAway, so it's very, very similar, um, which is quite interesting. Booking.com, I think has the best potential to beat Airbnb if there's competition. I think Booking.com would be there. It's been here for so many years. I would say it's very trustworthy. Expedia, TripAdvisor, FlipKey, which is for the international people who don't know, for the Americans who don't understand, FlipKey is more of an international company, and same with a lot of these other properties. So again, there's always one specific thing that may be a problem. However, I would say the key differences are very minimal. It's just the ease of use. You can have a worse product, but if it's very easy to use, people would prefer that. All right, now let's look into a more technical analysis of the stock and whether or not I'll be buying it. So we're back here on Robinhood looking at the Airbnb ticker. In terms of a technical analysis, we can see it's opened at 146, dipped about 15% to 124, and then rose back above the IPO price around 15% to around 167, and settled off around $155 a share. One thing I do have to note was that I did misjudge the price. It is, as you can see, 155.39 and not the 177 I quoted. So if you know just draw some trend lines, very basic trend lines, you can see it's the upward direction. However, we do have some consolidation right around here. It's basing off 155. If we can get a nice basic wedge coming in here, I expect it to go upwards. Um, in terms of an overall long-term perspective, I do believe the stock will keep going up. I don't know what's going to happen in the next 1, 2, or even 5 years. I'm just saying in 20 years, I expect the price of Airbnb to be higher than it is right now. I did have an order to around $100 a share. However, that didn't fill me. The low was 123. However, I will keep a look out for the stock. If it does dip, 30% in the next, week or two, I will definitely buy Airbnb stock, add it to my collection of long-term growth stocks. So there you have it, folks. I'm not invested. However, I'm not totally against buying at current valuations. I hope you enjoy this video and have a great day.